Hi everyone, welcome. This is part 2 of coloring Lana Green's freebie for her 2K followers. I'm going to do the hair. I'm going to just do a simple 3-color combo because it's really effective, especially for black hair, which I know can be tricky. I pulled indigo blue, black, and medium cold gray in Prismacolors. If you want to follow along, if you have your own combo, that's great too. I was going to pull in a little closer, but I think to start with, I'm going to start right here. I personally am going to start with my black. And I am going to try to keep the more natural, realistic effect of the hair. So I'm going to do the flick technique. There might be a better name for it. Not real sure, but that's what I call it. Excuse me one second. Okay, sorry, I had to get a drink. Of course, I start talking. So down here where it's dark is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to just make sure that my dark stays dark. So when we're doing this, we don't want like one hard line. We want to start and just have a real nice that we can blend. We don't want this, see how it's like got a dot and then like a chunky. We just want nice flicks of the wrist in the same swift motion, and that's what creates that nice hair feel. Grayscale is especially good for this because the lines are already built in, so you just have to follow the guide that's there for you. Okay, just darkening the shadows here. Her hair, I am going for black, so I am going to have more of this black than the blue or the gray. Now, I don't want to cover up this shine. We want that shine to stay. But I want this front piece down her face to be a nice dark black. And I want that dark black. Making sure I got all my little details here. Okay, I'm going to add a touch of indigo blue. Now, I'm not going to do a whole lot because if you do, so if this is our hair and we're going to blend it together, we do a little bit of blue, we get a nice like midnight black effect when we go to blend, right? Nice midnight black effect. Now, we get too heavy on this blue, that pretty midnight blue effect is going to start to have more blue than black, and we're going to start to get some weird shadows that are going to kind of detract from the black. So we really want to just keep the blue minimal, but we want it there. We want to see the effect, but we don't necessarily want to see the blue, if that makes sense at all. Okay. Now this will also take a couple layers. This is another one of those layer techniques where the layers build up to get the final goal here. But we want to make sure we're keeping that nice center shine piece. I'm going to go a little darker over here just because it's the edge and I want to make sure it's nice and dark. Okay, another dot of blue. The main thing with the blue, you can always add more, but once you're doing it like this, it is hard to take away. So just always kind of, you know, check it with your gray. See if you're getting the feel you want before you add too much. A little bit at a time does great. It's just blending everything together real nice. Okay, so I'm going to go with my black again. And I know it seems repetitive, but the dark strokes really do help build up that nice jet black feel we're going for here. I'm not really worried about covering the skin. I can either fix it later or color it black, whatever I decide. is a little time consuming, but the effect, the final piece, is really worth it. I think it really comes out looking nice. You have that nice natural flow of hair. So it does take a little while. Sometimes when I do this, I just turn on music and I just sit here and flick and flick and flick and flick. Okay, so I'm just kind of going by the roots here a little bit for a sec, just filling in some of these white. I don't want to go over all my black because I don't want to lose that black, right? But I think that is looking pretty good. So right here I'm just going to do a couple short flicks, just filling in that part a little bit. Making sure those parts are jet black. Alright, there's one side. Now it's your choice whether you want to work down the braid or go to the other side. I'm going to go to the other side just because that gets that majority out of the way for me. Sharp tip. Always want a super sharp tip for this kind of hair. So right here is going to be a dark, and I'm not flicking right this second. I am kind of just making sure I got my outlines where I need them so I don't like flick her ear or into her face. Sometimes I get a little carried away, a little wild. We want that nice dark piece right there. Okay, I'm not going to start on the braid just yet, but I want to make sure they keep their shape. So that's why I'm doing that. And then you will see that there's kind of highlights here, and I'm leaving those, just filling in that black a little. And then that way I can start. Now, if you don't want to move your wrist, if it is easier to follow the lines if you turn the paper, turn the paper. Really just depends on what's comfortable for you. Another thing to remember is every set of black pencils will have a different color black. So if you are using Arteza or any Black Widow, check your blacks, your color combinations before you do the hair. I'm going to turn this a little to go this way because I want to make sure I get a nice rotating my pencil a little just so I have that sharp tip. And follow the lines. If they come out further, flick a little further. If they're shorter, stay short. Okay, same thing with the blue. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. You do not want one side to be more blue than the other. So watch your colors. Like I said, it's always easier to add more than to take away. A little bit of blue shining through on one side is not going to be the end of the world, but you don't want one side to be like old lady gray hair and then the other side to be the jet black hair. So just something to keep an eye out on. Okay, for now I'm just going to flick all this one direction downwards. I am going to fix these little highlights right here in these wispy pieces, but I really want to concentrate on this right here for now. Okay. Coming back in with the black again. I'm really loving how this piece is coming out. I'm so excited. I hope this does well. People enjoy it. It's got so many elements that were so tricky for me when I first started that hopefully a lot of people will find this helpful. Okay, I'm really going to go easy on the blue because I feel like I'm getting a lot of blue, but I do want a little more in there. Okay, I'm going to blend it. Flicking. Okay, this middle piece down her head I am going to adjust when I get the rest of her hair done, so it doesn't look like a bald spot, kind of. So that's how I feel it's going. But, so you know, I will fix that. But my worry right now is the hair. So I'm going to make sure this piece by her face is nice and black. And the edge down her head. Okay. Hopefully you could still see that. Alright, sorry about that. My kiddo is on the PlayStation and something happened and his headset come undone. I didn't want to get blocked for copyright for having any of the music in the background of the game. Okay, so the braids are really going to be specific on how I'm still going to work on these wispies, but okay, I want to show you these braids before my phone decides that I've been recording too long. I'm not sure if it's my phone or my app I'm using to upload, but one of them is making me mad. Okay, with these wispies, you really you want to make them look natural. So you can go over it one time and kind of trace it, but then just add a couple of your own, just kind of wilding out, and that way it just looks a little more natural. It wasn't even on camera. All right, so I am going to come back and fix these parts, but like I said, because my phone doesn't like to upload long videos, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of these braids first, so at least I have those in there for you. So first of all, I'm just going to kind of outline the braids. So I'm just following the lines. I am not doing any of the flicking yet. I'm not pressing super hard. I just kind of want an outline. If you are comfortable in your flicking, you don't have to do the outline. This just helps me a little because, like I said, I get a little wild. I do. Okay, here's another one of those wispies. As I work my way down. Okay. So I'm wondering if I should come in a little closer so you can see. Hold on. Okay, hopefully that's a little better. Just be aware that up this close it is not going to look the same as when you see it from a distance, but I will show you the effect when I'm done. But so you can see what I'm doing. Sharp tip. And I'm doing black on all the edges, following the direction of the hair. Now see, this one has a flick all the way down. So I'm going to follow it. Whatever the artist has put in, I'm going to follow. Sharpen. Sorry about all the sharpening, but do you see the difference in the flicks, how thick these ones were and how fine these ones are? We really want that nice fine. Now you can do one at a time, one little braid section, or you can go and put all your black in like this, up to you. Just remember that even in this technique there are layers, so we will be repeating. This one I'm going to black out because it's like in a shadow, but I will touch it with the gray a little when I get to that little section with the other colors. Okay, black. Alright, now the blue, very light. You do not even need put a tiny dot on each one. It is important on the braids though to have a little blue. Just makes them look a little more shiny. Okay. And you can see I'm not really flicking the blue, I'm just adding a couple dots. That's because I don't want blue. Another thing I want to point out is I know some people use white to blend their hair. So quick example again, we have the two sides of our black hair, right? We add a tiny dot of blue and then we blend it with our gray. When we use the white will really pick up this blue and it's gonna change the color that we're going for. So see how it kind of picks up that blue? Now it's great for fog, not so much for hair. See how it really picks up that blue? So we're not gonna use white to blend. We're gonna stick with our gray. And we're really just going to do, now remember, this is our first layer, so we don't have to go hard and it doesn't have to be perfect. Now I know this doesn't look how it should. Trust the process. Trust the process. Okay. Got one right here. Almost did blue. Okay. Again, trying not to lose the shape of my braids here. And I am just darkening the black. Okay. Then you can kind of see how it's going to start pulling together here. But your shape of braids is going to be really important in keeping the braid looking like a braid. So my braid is looking a little wild right here with the hand. We're going to make sure we keep the shape of the hand, black out the braid. Right? So little areas, but we're keeping our detail in here. Shading with our gray. Now if our gray washes out our black too much, because we want these to be mostly black. There we go. We just do that same thing all the way down. Repeat the process. This page is going to require a lot of patience and a lot of layers. The effect will be gorgeous. Okay. See, I'm just kind of, as I'm going, adjusting now. I want this piece to be nice and black. Remember, we want more black than gray. We don't want a huge reflective section, because the gray is just the reflection on the hair, right? My little one crashed out next to me. She's like, I'm gonna watch you color for this video. And she didn't even make it 10 minutes. So either I'm boring or she was tired. Okay, so back with the gray. Now you notice I'm not going back in and touching up with the blue. I don't need any more blue. If you want, you can add a little black streak up through a couple of them. That just kind of helps give a little dimension to the braid. Just make sure you blend it a little so it doesn't look like a random streak of some kind. Okay. Remember to keep the shape consistent. So as you can see, every once in a while as I'm working my way through, I go back and make sure that my lines are super black between the braids. That's going to be the darkest part, is between these braids. It's where all the hair is coming together. And I just want to make sure when I'm going over with my medium cold gray that I'm not losing any of that. So I will probably make at least one more video out of this page just because it's such a great page and I really like it. We'll probably do the leaves on video. So if that interests you, keep an eye out for part 3. Alright, make sure we got a nice line up against the hand for a shadow. Oh, bless me. I don't know what blooms in August, but allergy season is here again. Okay, kind of fixing these ones down here. They look a little rough now that I look at them. I don't want it to look like rope. So to fix down here, because I do not want that ropey look, I'm just kind of adding a few black into the gray. And that just helps it look a little less like rope, more like hair. Okay, again up here, blackening these wisps. And you'll see how they stand out against the other hair. I'm going to need a tiny dot of blue here just to separate the black from everything else, and then the gray. Oh, gray. On camera. I forget I'm zoomed in and have to stay in this little box here. Okay, now once you have that down, if you want to, because we don't want it to look like she has black hair still. Still black hair. Or gray hair. We don't want gray hair, we want black hair. We just kind of dim that down a little. We want there to be a difference, but not to be able to be so standoutish. Alright, so 23. I will see how much of this side I can get done, but it is a little time consuming. In 7 minutes. It's about what my phone will upload without being a pain is a half hour, so guess I'm gonna be the half-hour lady. My videos. I always tell myself I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna delete some stuff off my phone so I have space. I'm gonna get a new phone. I haven't. I just keep on trucking. Keep talking myself out of it. Changing plans. Okay, remember, just easy on that blue. It does make a difference. We do want the blue. Just don't want to overdo the blue. Okay, this one right here, I'm just going to add gray. Okay. This one, I'm going to do a sharp black line because I really want the leaf and this hair to be two separate things going on here. Just a tiny dot of blue to outline, and then that gray. I know it seems repetitive, but then we're going to come back and we're going to dull that gray down with just a little bit of black. Just like that. Okay, we have the other end of it on this side. Same thing here. So we got that leaf a little bit, which is what I was trying to avoid. That's alright. Okay, remember I'm keeping the shape of my braid segments here. Alright, So that is going to be about it for this video. Thank you for having the patience if you've watched 2 of them, because I had to break it into 2. I really wanted 1 video, but questions, comments, leave them down below. Again, if you want to share in the Facebook group, I will link it, but it is not required. The Facebook group is mostly for people who are having trouble working YouTube. It was easier for me to post the links there and for them to be able to find my videos that way when I post a new one, because I don't really have a schedule. I'm just everywhere. But yes, questions, comments, suggestions, requests, always welcome. Helps me create content that you like. Alright, I think I like it. I think it's going to be a really great piece when it's done. Remember to stay with the direction of your braids though. Things start getting weird. Alright, so there is our hair. Let me pull back. Alright, so there we are at a distance. You can see how the full effect is when you're not up close looking at it. Again, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next video.